Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Bitcoin, and also a little bit of preparation for next week. I think that's always very valuable to kind of know what's coming up and what are some things, especially fundamentally, right, that you need to pay attention to, and then we'll kind of blend that into the technicals and what to expect from there. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'll try to keep it short and concise so you can get on your way this Sunday. I want to wish you all a great Sunday as well. But let's get right into it. So yesterday I briefly already prefaced that next week we have some major economic data again. First of all, like most importantly, I would say is Tuesday. Tuesday we have CPI and inflation rate data. And that matters a lot, right? I mean, inflation rate data at this point of time is by far the most important measure that the Federal Reserve is looking at for its monetary policy, right? So they're expecting that it's going to go up because of the tariffs. If it's going up more than expected, that could be very bad for the markets, and we could have a pretty deep pullback. To be fair, I think in general the breakout we had above 110,000 is real, and I think that is going to hold. But ultimately, I mean, the only way something like that could be challenged, something like that could be put to question, put into question, I think is how you say it, is if we get some very bad inflation rate data. I mean, if the Federal Reserve all of a sudden is not going to cut interest rates anymore in 2025, or maybe they have to hike them again, that's the extreme scenario, right? I mean, it's most likely not going to happen, but that is something to be cautious about. We want them to be lower than expected, and it's unlikely we're going to get a rate cut in July, but that could also like if all of a sudden the inflation rate is lower than previously, for example, which would be an extreme reading as well. But then all of a sudden we could start hearing about some rate cuts in July, which would be great, right? Chance is 5% at this point of time, so it's very low. But we have some like more so. We have some Federal Reserve speeches next week, in which headlines like that, because of the inflation rate data, can actually change the market quite a bit. So that is fundamentally, I think, what you need to be worried about. And then, of course, as well, I think the general financial markets are going to open quite volatile with the news we had over the course of this weekend with those tariffs on Mexico and the EU. At this point of time, technically, Bitcoin, and this is also what we said yesterday in the video. I think the video we made yesterday, or I made, but of course we do it together. The video I made yesterday in the middle of the day market update, we had just received that bad news, but we said, all right, well, this is bad news, but now we need to see a breakdown first. And we never really broke down below the value area low that we had on Friday. So I said, if we don't do that, we're going to be stable, and stable is still what we are right now. The open interest, can I see that right here? Yeah, so the open interest has been relatively stable since Friday as well. Friday we got some shorts coming into the price, but that means that ultimately, look, we're going to get a breakout. We're going to get a pullback, I'm fairly certain, at least into this area right here between 115 and 114. And that's the first area where we will probably get a bounce. And then if that bounce is strong, that's going to be the bottom. If that's a weak bounce, we'll drop down to 112,000. So I do think that's happening, but short term, I still lean towards expecting a short squeeze first, right? So that we actually get a move up. Is that going to be a sustained move, a sustainable move? I don't know. For now, I assume no. So a move up. Then a drop back into value, and then a pullback. I still think that's most likely. I think that's in line with the technicals. I think that's in line with the order flow, and I think that's in line with the fundamentals, because inflation rate data and CPI data coming out on Tuesday also serves as a bit of a bit of a reason to potentially de-risk going into the week instead of over the course of the weekends, because we haven't seen much de-risking yet. So yeah, volatile, it's definitely going to get, so be aware of that, be ready for that. But I'll try to keep you updated on that as well in my middle of the day market update later today, so keep an eye on the channel for that. For now, have a great Sunday, take care, and bye.